All right, so I've been driving this car for about 3 or 4 months now, and kind of getting a good feel for the road handling capabilities of this car. It certainly is a capable and fun daily driver. Very sporty-like handling, but along with that sporty-like handling, I wanted a sports-sounding exhaust. So I was looking at some upgrades and doing some searching on YouTube, looking at YouTube clips, exhaust clips. Came across a few that I liked. And these exhaust clips featured a factory Mazda muffler, and that's the Mazdaspeed Muffler. So I set out searching for that, and eventually in the end I did get what I wanted, but initially I could not find one. But I started out with, because I couldn't find one, I started out with one of MagnaFlow's products, MagnaFlow muffler, and I was going to sort of mimic the design and everything of the Mazda Protege muffler, and I was going to piece that together and put it on the car and see what it sounded like. Long story short, this project of mine, this exhaust project, wound up being a total bust. Lots of ups and downs, lots of screwed up parts, some shabby welding jobs, you name it. So I just want to catalog this. So take a look at this series of videos. It's going to catalog how this all went down. Take a look.
Here's a good reason why you shouldn't leave projects in the hands of anyone else. I had to take a trip out to the local dealership to pick up some parts for this BMW engine. While I was gone, the mobile exhaust guy was supposed to come by the shop, weld my exhaust according to the specific instructions that I had left to my boss. It didn't go anything the way I wanted it to go. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me go over here and walk underneath the car. Let me show you where all the mess went wrong. Let me show you this. You see this right here? This weld, there used to be a flange right there. A flange used to live right there, and that flange was supposed to remain in the car. That flange is one piece with this center pipe. This pipe snakes around, there's a resonator, and then it terminates at the catalytic converter. Now, in order to fix this mess, I'm going to have to replace that whole center pipe. Catalytic converter is going to stay, but the pipe needs to be replaced. The reason I'm replacing the pipe is because I'm not good at welding. The guy's gone, and I'm not going to call him back. Another thing that was done, that was supposed to be done here, was that there was supposed to be an exhaust tip welded onto this muffler here. But instead, the guy just stuck a piece of pipe into the muffler, turned it at a funny angle, and then just welded it into place. I mean, this is nothing what I wanted. I was very disappointed with this welding job. Very, very, very disappointed. And just look at how he did the hanger. Just tacked a piece of metal. It's at an angle that's bound to break. Here's what the tip's supposed to look like. Single wall tip with a rolled edge. Very simple. I didn't get any of that. Here's the muffler that I found that he cut out of the car. Now, that's where the muffler was supposed to be cut, where you see me demonstrating here. Now, when I got back and I discovered this mess, my boss was complaining. He says, you see this piece of metal? He was talking about, he was going to have trouble cutting that because it was some thick gauge steel. That piece of metal is, welded by the factory to the muffler and the pipe for rigidity. Okay, it keeps both pieces stable. Adds rigidity to the whole structure there. He was complaining about it was too thick to cut, blah, blah, blah. And then he couldn't cut it right there, so he just cut it below the flange and removed everything. I say BS. This piece was easily to be cut. I took that cut-off wheel that you saw there, and I cut through that pipe within a few minutes, less than 5 minutes. I cut the pipe, took a Sawzall, cut it where I wanted it to be cut, just to demonstrate that it could be done. And I was very upset. It was just came out totally wrong. But despite the crummy welds and everything and the job done wrong, the exhaust actually sounds good. So here's a clip of what it sounds like. Has a nice deep exhaust note, and it actually sounds pretty good. So take a listen. Now, though this setup yields a deep overall exhaust note, which was actually pretty decent, it wasn't anything close to what I wanted. Quite possibly it may have been a little bit different had the exhaust finishing tip been welded on. Some exhaust tips actually amplify the sound that comes out of the mufflers, so a little shake test there. I was trying to find out what the knocking noise was, and I found out that the pipe that they welded into the car was welded just a little too close to the front control arm of the rear suspension, so definitely that would have to come out, and partially the knock is due to the deranged arrangement of the exhaust hangers. So yeah, the only way to get this out is to cut it out of the car, and that would require replacing the center resonator pipe. All unfortunate. So yeah, next thing I would have to do is roam the salvage yards, the local salvage yards, to see if I can find the correct pieces to put my Protege back together the correct way, the original way that I wanted it done in the first place. So coming up next episode, join me as I roam these salvage yards to find the right parts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next episode.